And just like that, the 2023 NFL season is about to kick off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Buffalo Boys, episode 2 of the 2023 season. As always, it is your host, Ryan, joined by my co-host, Todd. Todd, how are you?
Doing well, Ryan. We are just a few hours away from kickoff. I'm so excited that we get to talk about real football, see real football, and get some real fantasy wins out there.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, Todd, and we're here. That's all there is to it. Really excited to be here. A couple days ago, we had our draft. That was actually 2 days ago. I have a couple thoughts, Todd. First off, selfishly, I'd like to start with my team. You know, I went in there with a clear strategy, and my first pick was overpaying for Devontae Adams, and I feel like it just got me off to a weird start, Todd. I think I paid $46 for him, which I don't feel great about. I guess he was wide receiver number 3 last year, so not bad, but I wasn't planning to pay that much for him. I think I just got too excited. You know how it is with auction drafts. You just start going, and it's going so fast, and you just start clicking the mouse, and next thing you know, you overpay for a guy. So I felt like sort of in a funk for the rest of the draft, but I don't hate my team. I have a couple guys I'm really excited about. Christian McCaffrey, number 1, obviously. I'm excited about Kirk Cousins. I think he'll have a good season. And then George Kittle, who I got for $4. Some of the top tight ends in the league went for way more. I think Andrews went for 23, for example. But if Kittles can stay healthy, pretty excited about what he can do this year. Todd, before I go into some other kind of quick hits from the draft, how are you feeling about your team?
Well, Ryan, I like my team a lot. You know, there was some hate from a couple individuals out there. Longtime hater, Mike Simpson. So it's to be expected.
Who you're playing this week, by the way? Longtime hater, longtime rival. So that'll be a good one.
I like playing Mike early in the season because he's admitted that he's gotten off to really bad starts and hasn't been able to do any trades, any in-season maneuvers yet. So I get him at his worst, I think, right now. So I'm excited for that matchup. But as for my team, you know, it looks like I may have put myself in the hole with Cooper Kupp. We'll see how that plays out. I think he could be a league-winning piece down the stretch if I can get there. But for right now, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. It'll be a little bit of a rocky start to the season, which I don't love. I'd prefer to draft where I get out and win the first 4 games if I can. Even so, per my own projections, I like my team a lot, and I like your team as well. You have the 3rd highest projection based off my pre-draft rankings, so I think you have a good team, but I tend to disagree with you on Kittle. He gets hurt way too much, and he already has a groin injury, so I think he's going to be limited come this Sunday. I think that's going to hurt you, and might be your downfall for this week.
I guess we'll have to see once Sunday rolls around. I do see that you picked up my boy Chubb from last year. He did really well for me, so I'm hoping he does well for you. Yeah, he's not in a split backfield anymore. Kareem Hunt is not on the team, which makes me think that he's going to get a lot more touches. Could be a good thing for his fantasy outlook. So, yeah, I think that was a really good pickup.
I obviously agree. I spent more on him than I've ever spent in the auction era, and he's my RB1 on the season. The sky's the limit. I think he is just going to finally get all the credit that everyone around the league already says about him as just an NFL player. I think he's going to also have the fantasy community loving him this season.
And also shout out to your bench. I see 2 Steelers on there, Pat Freiermuth and Jalen Warren, 2 guys who could have big seasons. So I think those are some good pickups by you. A couple other guys that I wanted to touch on, a couple different teams that I thought had some interesting picks. First was Forrest. He picked up 3 quarterbacks. One of his quarterbacks was Tua. I understand wanting to get another piece just in case Tua isn't super healthy. But his pickup of Daniel Jones late in the draft, especially for more than $1, for $2, I think that was kind of an interesting pickup. Not really sure what he was thinking there. I like Doug's top 3 picks, Justin Jefferson, Justin Fields, and Tyreek Hill. I think if they stay healthy, they could do pretty well. And then I like Hoyle's team. I mentioned that he picked up Mark Andrews for $23. That might be kind of a lot for a tight end, but obviously Andrews is a big part of that catching game in Baltimore. And, I think he's got a lot of other good pieces that could result in a good season for Hoyle. So we'll see what happens. Anybody's team besides you or mine that stood out to you, Todd?
I hate to say it, but I really like Rick's team. I think he did a good job with the composition. I think J.K. Dobbins is a running back one this year. Same with Tony Pollard. You got to like A.J. Brown and Jalen Waddle. I think he's got a really good starting roster. Maybe struggles come bye week, but I think he'll be really good. And then Jimmy's team also. Jimmy took a lot of guys that I was targeting. If I didn't go Cup, I was 100% going to draft Olave, and I still had something like $8 to spare based off the Cup price to the Olave price. So I think Olave is going to be a star for him this year. I love Hurts. I think Gibbs is going to pop off tonight. I think he's going to be able to get something like, dare I say, 120 total yards and a touchdown tonight against the Chiefs. They don't have Chris Jones going. They have their whole line is healthy. And I think Mr. Dump-Off, Jared Goff, is just going to love his new talent in the backfield.
Okay, we heard it here first. Really looking forward to that game. Obviously, love the Lions. Started liking them because of Hard Knocks last year. And the Chiefs are must-watch football. It's as simple as that. All right, Todd. Well, if that is all your thoughts about the draft this year, let's talk about Week 1, starting in just a couple hours. Our first matchup of the week, Forrest versus Hoyle. Hoyle is projected to win this one. I think he will win off of a big game from Geno versus the Rams, Kenneth Walker versus the Rams, and I think Alexander Mattison is going to have a good game against Tampa. What are your thoughts on this one, Todd?
Yeah, so the all-time record here sits at 4-6. So Forrest with 4 wins, Hoyle with 6 wins. I do like Forrest more in this matchup this year. I think it's a big week for all of his wide receivers, and I think Dotson's going to really pop off this week. But all things considered, I think this will be one of the lowest scoring matchups. So it's basically who can score more than 100 points.
All right. Perhaps the opposite of this game is Mims versus Nixon. I think this could be a pretty high-scoring game, and this is actually my game of the week. I can't wait to see how this one goes down.
Yeah, this one's my game of the week as well, Ryan.
Nice. For Mims, I like Hawkinson. I like Lamar's matchup. But I also really like Christian Watson against the Bears for Nixon. I like Josh Jacobs against Denver. It is in elevation. Maybe that'll slow him down a little bit. But, yeah, I think this is a good one, and I'm going to give the slight edge to Mims in this matchup. Who do you have, Todd?
It's definitely an exciting matchup, but I take umbrage with one thing you said, and that's Nixon starting Christian Watson. Christian Watson pulled his hammy this week. He's been questionable the last 2 practices, and I don't think he's actually going to be able to do, even if he's playing, he's not going to have most likely that breakaway speed. So I think that's going to ultimately be the decider here. And Mims gets to finally beat everyone in the league. Nixon is the last team that he has not beat. And I think it'll be a foreshadowing of a potential first-time champion.
Are we just going to do our bold prediction right now, Todd? Are we going to say it on 1, 2, 3 that we're going to have a new champion? Is that what you're feeling?
Let's do it.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think the bold prediction is I'm going to win 3 in a row, but I also really don't believe in myself. So I don't know, but I like that. I like that prediction for Mims though. Okay, how about this one? Jimmy versus Rick. You talked a little bit about Jimmy's team before. Who do you like in this game?
I like Jimmy in this one. It's a great matchup. Like I said, I like both teams a lot. It's hard to poke holes anywhere. I think Jimmy has the advantage based off some of the matchups he's going up against, or his players are going up against. The only weakness I'm seeing here is P. Ryan. That's the only player that I'm a little bit worried about across this starting matchup.
But you're taking Jimmy in this one.
You got that right, Ryan. I think Olave, Gibbs, and Hurts will be just too much star power. Jimmy's going to come away with the win this week.
Very good. Good luck, Jimmy. And good luck, Rick. We'll see what happens. Up next, why don't we do your matchup there, Todd? You versus Mike Simpson. Classic WPFL rivalry. I'm assuming you're going to pick yourself. Maybe not, but tell me your thoughts on this game, Todd.
Well, it is the lowest projection on the week. So, the bar is low, fortunately, for me. As without Cup, I definitely will be searching for points. But I think some of my guys are going to really finally cement their breakout status and redeem their season last year, like Gabe Davis and Ayuk. Ayuk had a great season. I think he'll be a star this season, though, with Kittle being frequently hurt. I think And if he can just have one QB thrown to him, he's going to have a really good year. So I think I'm going to pull away with it, but just barely. It's going to be a tight contest, and I just hope I can get a W to start the season.
Yeah, I think you're going to win as well, Todd. I like Chubb here, and I like a couple of your wide receivers who you're starting. So I think you'll pull out that first victory. Since we're talking about our own games, let's talk about mine. Me versus AJ. AJ is projected to have more points at the moment. His team looks pretty good, I'm not going to lie, but I have to be selfish, Todd. I'm going for my third championship in a row. I have to start out with a victory, right? So it's going to be me. What do you think?
Before I tell you what I think, can I ask you a question first? Do you know something I don't? Why is Fournette on your roster right now?
Well, we'll just have to see, won't we? Maybe I do know something that you
Well, regardless, I've got AJ this match. I think it'll be close. I just really like the matchup for Bijan and Eckler. I think they'll have big weeks. I don't know why AJ is starting OBJ. I think he's going to regret that. But I think with Trevor Lawrence starting off against a weak Indy team and the star power with Bijan, I think he's got you.
All right, well, I hope you're wrong, but I guess we will see. 2 more matchups to go. Adler versus Doug. I think this is going to be a tight one, but I am picking Doug. Who do you got, Todd?
I've got Doug as well. Congrats, Doug. That means you're basically guaranteed to win. Enjoy it, Draft God, because we know you can't pull out wins later on in the season after your players get hurt. So I hope you can get off to a strong start. And this has historically been a really high-scoring matchup over the years, averaging almost 100 points apiece for each game. So they like to bring it when they play each other. I think it'll be a good one. So I think Doug just edges out Adler here.
Quick question, Todd. Is this going to be another insufferable season where our own Mattress Black, for every victory, he's almost insufferable on the group me? Do you think that we're going to see another version of that this year?
It's hard to say. I hope not, but he does have he's a draft god after all. He has my sneaky start of the week. I think Nico Collins is going to be actually a great flex play. Currently, ESPN has him finishing as the wide receiver 46, or projected as the wide receiver 46 on the week. And I'm willing to put a weekly wager on that. I think Nico Collins will be wide receiver 36 or better. If anyone wants that bet, $5 in the chat. Let me know.
Okay. Our first weekly wager of the season, man. Football is back. This is exciting. And last but not least, Dave versus Neil. Bring us home, Todd. Who you got?
I've got Neil. Neil ended Dave's 4-game win streak last season, so the tide is in Neil's favor. Both teams are pretty weak, though, at wide receiver. I don't love having D-Hop and Derrick Henry on the same team against the Saints. Putting your RB1 and your wide receiver 1 on the same team, I think, will ultimately really hurt Dave this season. And Kelsey's hurt. So there's just not a lot to like for Dave this week, unfortunately. So I think Neil gets to pull out a victory, even though he doesn't even have a kicker on his team right now.
Yeah, maybe he's hoping for cousin Randy to get picked up by some team. Who's to say? I also like Neil in this one. I really like Patrick Mahomes. I like the fact that Dave has Derrick Henry, but I like Mahomes more. I like Mixon more in this game. So, going with Neil. And with that, our Week 1 predictions are in. Any last words before we go watch some football, Todd?
I'm just looking forward to 12 uninterrupted hours of football on Sunday. It's going to be great. I'm excited for the game tonight. And for another great season with the Buffalo boys. And the last thing I want to remind you, Ryan, don't get buffaloed.
Well said, Todd. Good luck this season, and we will talk to you next week.